Hello people, another quick video. This one is about the fact that Donald Trump, President of America, has come out and said that a vaccine could be ready by October. Now, a lot of people disparage Mr. Trump, but there is also a contingent that believes that Mr. Trump is doing a lot for the world and for the country, and that he is attacked by people. But I want you to analyse the clip that I'm about to show of him making this announcement. I want you to pay close attention to the fact that he's reading from a script. Therefore, it's not his own thinking. He doesn't even put the words together properly because he's reading for a script. The one time he goes off script is to say how good the CEO of Pfizer, one of the companies that's producing the vaccine, is. He's a good guy. So watch very closely. Let's go in.
Through Operation Warp Speed, we have 3 vaccines in the final stage of clinical trials. Yesterday, Pfizer announced, I just spoke to the head of Pfizer, great guy. They announced that it expects to have the results of its trial very, very shortly, next month, but very shortly. We remain on track to deliver a vaccine before the end of the year and maybe even before November 1st. We think we can probably have it sometime during the month of October.
Now, along with Donald Trump, I saw an article stating that the Oxford coronavirus trials could also be ready for October. So along with this article, we have another series of news articles which I'm going to just run through quickly. So take a look, and it also features the Dr. Death, I call him, Dr. Fauci. All pointing to October. Let's go in again.
And now to a developing story. The Centers for Disease Control says that there could be a coronavirus vaccine by late October or early November.
Major news today from Pfizer. The pharmaceutical company says it should know by the end of October whether its vaccine works. Pfizer's vaccine is one of 2 now in late-stage testing. The CDC is already preparing for a massive vaccine distribution effort.
Russia is the first country to grant regulatory approval for a COVID-19 vaccine, but its decision to do so before completing trials has raised safety concerns. Even so, the Philippines appears unfazed.
Russia announced mass vaccination in October. The Ministry of Health of the Russian Federation announced a mass vaccination scheduled in October 2020. The health minister revealed that the plan targets healthcare workers and teachers in the country. The vaccine to be used is a product developed by Gamaleya National Research Center for Epidemiology and Microbiology, reported by the RIA's state news agency. The vaccine is currently in accelerated testing and seeking regulatory approval for in-human use.
So, listen, I know the news is coming in all the time as folks take a closer look at the various vaccine candidates. You've been consistent for weeks and months saying, you know, it's possible as soon as the end of this year. We now have the CEO of Pfizer saying he should have enough data by the end of October. I'm curious, have you seen any data that has you moving up a likely timeline for a workable vaccine?
These are all guesstimates, Jim. I mean, if you look at the projection of the enrollment and the kinds of things you'll need to get a decision about whether the vaccine is safe and effective, most of us project that that's going to be by November, December, by the end of the year. Could this be earlier? Sure. So if someone comes out and says, you know, I'm going to shoot for the possibility that I'll get it by October, you can't argue strongly against that. That's unlikely.
Now, before I come to the most important part of this video, which I think everybody should really understand, and I'll bring it back to Donald Trump, I want to go back to what we were told in the early stages of this corona pandemic, this so-called pandemic. I want to go back to what they told us, and I'm going to use this clip in order to show us, because they told us that a vaccine took a decade or more. But don't take it from me, take it from this.
In May, President Trump unveiled Operation Warp Speed, an ambitious plan to develop a COVID-19 vaccine by the end of 2020.
It's called Operation Warp Speed. That means big and it means fast.
While this timeline isn't impossible, many experts agree a vaccine won't be on the market for at least another year or 2. So it's worth asking, why does it take so long to develop a vaccine? Developing a safe and effective vaccine is a complex process that typically takes a decade or more. In fact, the record for getting an entirely new vaccine on the market is 4 years. To speed things up, researchers around the world are exploring many different vaccines at the same time. That way, if one candidate fails, others can still move forward. Meet George Rutherford, a professor of epidemiology at UCSF.
Vaccines are never simple. There are always a million things that can go wrong. So it has to be done carefully, safely. And while Operation Warp Speed conveys this idea that we're going to jet through this process, we're not skipping through the safety.
The first phase of vaccine development is academic research. In this stage, scientists explore various avenues for finding a viable vaccine candidate.
There's a lot of basic science that goes into this at the start, a lot of laboratory science to understand the life cycle of the organism, to understand how the immune system responds to it.
A vaccine works by training the immune system to produce antibodies that can fight off an infection. So the key to a successful vaccine is finding an agent that will trigger an immune response without making the person sick. Traditional vaccines do this by introducing a weakened version of the virus to the immune system, but some researchers are exploring other promising methods based on messenger RNA.
We're going to either fool the body or fool a non-pathogenic virus that we can introduce into producing lots of copies of the piece of the protein of COVID that actually locks into the cell wall receptor. When you have an infection, your body will recognize it rapidly and produce lots of antibody to it.
Research is a time-consuming process that can take years, oftentimes with no concrete results.
Now, there can be only two options as to why we have been able to bypass the 10 years, the decade or more it usually takes to create a virus. One, because it was a whole planned event and the vaccine was already here, waiting to be put into human beings for some nefarious purpose. Or, these vaccines have been created in a record time, warp speed as they call it, and they're not going to be safe. Which option do you think it is? Let's not go down the angle of the whole conspiracy theory saying that this was planned and the vaccine had already been prepared. Let's leave that off the table for a minute. And let's just think about the fact that this has been done at a very fast speed. Well, it has been done at a very fast speed. And what people like Donald Trump and also the UK, the CDC, has done, has put in certain laws where these companies that have produced the vaccine cannot be prosecuted. And that is the part of this video that I wanted to come to. Because I want to paint you the scenario of this. The worst case scenario is that you get your family vaccinated and someone in your family has an adverse reaction to this new vaccine that's not been properly tested and that person dies. Do you have any recourse in the courts? Can you sue these companies? No, because the companies are now immune to prosecution. Please people, this is a warning from me. And who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube. Play a bit of music here and there. I'm just a guy on YouTube. Please take it from me. There's more to this whole scenario. And you do not want to use your body as the testing ground for a vaccine that has been rushed for you in order to, one, annihilate the human body, because I can assure you that once this vaccine comes out, the numbers are going to go through the roof. Trust me on this. So this is the end to this video, because I'm going to do follow-ups because obviously when this new coronavirus vaccine comes out, we're going to be mandated to take it. And that's when the human population is going to have to stand up and fight for our rights to our own bodies, I believe. So signing out for ELAVI Truth TV. I will be back very soon because I'm on a roll. I need to be on a roll because a lot is happening in the world. I will see you very soon.